Let me show you the most important picture in the room here. There he is, Dragon Boy. Hey. Hey. Yeah, this is before and after. Yep, that's me, 1966. Got drafted.
That's awesome.
See, I was on the M42 Dusters. My name's in front of the tank. That was my tank crew. And this is the letter you never want to get in the mail. You just got drafted. This flag flew over the White House. It was donated to me by Senator Joe Heffley. I have documentation. This is a captured VC flag with government captured papers. Here's captured papers with SKSs and Mosin Nagats brought back. Okay, over here. This is the hot gun in Vietnam. It's called the M60 Machine Gun. It shoots 550 .308 bullets a minute. It was replaced about 15, 17 years ago with the 249, which is half the weight. It's a very heavy gun. In fact, it was nicknamed the Pig. It shoots a 308 bullet, 150 grain bullet. And then in 1965, see, the Mattel gun came out. That's what we used to call it. Toys R Us. The M16. See, that's the first time the U.S. government ever issued a soldier a plastic weapon. And these things, the tolerances are so close. A little sand, a little dirt, a little mud, they jam. A lot of kids lost their lives because of these jamming. You pick up an AK-47 out of the mud, pull the trigger, they always work. Because there's 8 to 10 thousandths of an inch clearance on all the moving parts. This is the Winchester Trench Gun with the 16-inch bayonet, 12 gauge. This is the first aviation patch they ever made. See that patch? That's worth like $800. See, this is a detonator. See that? And this is called the safety pin. All the detonators have safety pins during World War II. You pull the safety pin out, see like that? Now it's live. You put it, see, in a landmine like this, with the screen on the top, and when you put weight on the top, it pushes down and fires a .22 blank into the black powder and explodes the landmine. Yeah, see? See, now it goes down. See? That's how a landmine works. This is the safety pin. So when the engineers went around with these landmine detectors to deactivate these, they'd have a whole backpack of safety pins, and they just push the safety pin in, and then it won't go off. They're pretty simple. See, and they go right in here in the hole. See, like that, and then the screen goes on top. It's one of the first Dodge trucks Dodge made for the Army. They made 1,000 of these. Serial number 147. I was real lucky to get this. I get the military magazine every other month. It only comes out 6 times a year. And this was in it about 20-something years ago. And a lady, Betty, up in Albany, New York, was selling this because her husband, Ted, died. This is a picture of Ted that owned this vehicle for 46 years. I told Betty I'll keep that picture on the running board for as long as I have the museum. I offered her the most money. I sent one of my sons, flew him up to Albany. He rented a U-Haul truck, put this in the back, and brought it back. That's a real collector's item. There was no starter motor, so it has a crank in the front. You have to crank it. The motor is only 4-cylinder, 28 horsepower. See that? It's got a magneto. There was no batteries back then. See that? And there was no juice brakes. See the back brakes, they squeezed the brake drum instead of expanding. It's called mechanical brakes. And there was no electric system. See, these are all lanterns, you know, with kerosene. Yeah, this here's the M3 half-track. The only difference from the M2 and the M3 is the M3 like this has a back door. See that? These are M36 backpacks, 1919 30-06 anti-aircraft guns, and a 75 millimeter cannon. This is just the way the vehicle would have been coming off the landing craft on Omaha or Utah Beach in World War II. And this one actually has the original radio in it too. See that? See, this is a later vehicle, 1943 to 45. See, they changed the headlights and they put blackout lights on the top. That was the difference. Okay, this is the M38A1 Jeep, like I was telling you about. See, so the recoilless rifle barrel lowers in between the windshield. Wow. And this is a clamp where the barrel would go on. See that? And about 10, 12 years ago, I used to drive this around town. I used to get some looks. A few times I actually got pulled over, but all the cops know me now.
Stop powers?
Yeah.
Hey, donuts, I'm so...
They go, Mel Bernstein, where are you going? I said, hey, I'm going to collect a bad check. You want to go with me? Extension for the museum. And as you can see, it's full already. There's a CCKW unit back there. Yeah, about 10 years ago, I had shipped back from France. It takes 8 to 9 months to get a vehicle back. Studebaker made these, 1941 to 45. If you look in your history book, Battle of the Bulge, you'll see the weasels coming in and out of the Ardex forest near Bastogne, bringing out the wounded and dead men. They played a big part, and the 10th Mountain Division used these a lot too in the snow. And Bastogne, the Battle of the Bulge, that lasted for 4 weeks. Let's see, December 21st to January 16th to December 26th to January 21st. 4 weeks it lasted, Battle of the Bulge. Over 110,000 Germans got killed. Battle of the Bulge, the Ardex Forest, 30 miles wide and 40 miles long. All the fighting over there was done in the forest. That's where a lot of guys go with the metal detectors, and try to find artifacts and stuff. This is a Willys, and they made these in 1950, and you can tell the difference just by looking at it. What's the difference? You see the difference?
The high hood.
Look how high the hood is. You know why they made the high hood? It's because in 1950, they made the first overhead valve motor for the Jeeps. Back then, they had, flathead motors. So I guess the company was just guessing how high to make the hood. They actually made the hood 3.5 inches too high. But higher is better than lower. But see, back then, the kids, the soldiers were only 17, 18, 19 years old, and they liked to hot rod this stuff around. And with front wheel and back wheel steering, they'd flip over really easy. And so after the first 1,000, the Willys company only made front steering. They were made to haul around like cases of ammunition and heavy stuff like that. Yeah, I was real lucky to get this. This is me driving it around my property. See, I have a machine gun shoot every September 11th weekend. If you guys want to come out here, I rent out 200 machine guns. We blow up cars. We do everything you see in the Schwarzenegger movie, right? We rent out all the guns and everything. And I take a lot of these vehicles out and I demonstrate, I give kids rides and stuff like that all weekend. September 11th weekend, keep that in mind. I advertise on Facebook. So anyway, I was real lucky to get this with the turntable. See the turntable? That holds the 81 millimeter mortar. And if you read the mortar manual right here, it says make sure the hatch doors are open before firing. Yeah. Right. Another thing I was real lucky to get is the machine gun nest on the top. Okay, this is my Russian tank. This is the only vehicle I'm afraid to drive in and out of the museum, and I'll tell you why. It's 11.5 feet wide, and my garage door is 12 feet wide. So I only have 3 inches on each side. So when I back this up, I have like 5 people on each side watching what's going on, because it can't hear nothing when you're in there. And it's got levers. There's no steering wheel. It drives like a bulldozer. And if you pull the lever a little too much, the whole back swings around. So it's really scary to drive. It weighs 80,000 pounds, 40 tons. Here, look at the armor on there. 4.5 inches thick. Wow. Yeah, look at that. And it's got a 12-cylinder diesel motor, 6-speed manual transmission. All the lights work, the night vision, and I could just about fit in that hatch. One more cheeseburger and I won't fit. Yeah.
T65?
What's that?
T65?
Oh yeah, no, it's a 30. Let's see, the 34 was World War II. This is right after the very end of World War II.
Yeah, I know.
The 54, right? This is the Russian uniform, the tanker uniform. See, with the tanker hat, and for me to get in that hatch, I have to have one arm up and one arm in it. Okay, so anyway. Everything over the sandbags here is dated 1941 to 45. Every bullet and every newspaper. Whoa, we're back up. Look, we're getting attacked. Hit the ground. I should have warned you. See what happens? The Germans, they see the lights on, they do an air raid, they send the Luftwaffe over. Yeah. Okay, these flares, these were shot in a 37 millimeter flare gun. The Army, the Navy, the Air Force all had this kind of flare gun, and these are the live flares that go in it. See that? See, it was never fired. And see that the date on here is 1943. Yep, see that? See, back then everything was like dated. Okay, you see the emergency water over there? Dated 1944. Okay, here, listen. If you can't hear it, the water is still in here for 76 years. Amazing. These are armor-piercing bullets. See that? And they would have a black tip on them. Yeah, see that? Armor-piercing. Okay, these are grenade flares. These go on top of the M1 Grant. You pull the cork out, put it on the adapter, and it shoots with a blank. It ignites it. It goes up about 300 yards. It opens up with a parachute, and it comes down yellow. That would signal the ships to bring more men, you know, to the beaches, something like that. And this was made, look, December 1944. See that? Anybody want to know anything?